Hey folks, I'm Kevin from Bitcoin for Beginners, and today I want to talk about the infamous BitMEX exchange. They are super popular, as you probably know, but they're in trouble. They've been skirting the rules for far too long, and this is both the exchange and its founder that you may have heard of, Arthur Hayes. So you probably have heard of this drama already from other YouTubers, other bloggers, and content creators in the past few weeks, but they probably only touched on a high-level cursory overview of what's happening. In this video, you know we're all about deep dive, no frills, no fluff content these days. We're going to go straight to the source, dive deep, and break it all down for you. We're going to touch on the accusations from the government, share the outlook for BitMEX, share my thoughts, and what comes next. Right, so if you like this video at any time while you're watching this, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, check out the pinned comment down below for special offers and timestamps for your viewing pleasure. Let's dive right in. All right, so first, some very quick background, right? BitMEX was founded in 2014, and they're a super popular leveraged and derivatives trading platform. Traders on the platform felt enormous freedom for years, right? No KYC, no hassle, Bitcoin only deposits and withdrawal, all that jazz. And they had near monopoly control over this leverage and derivatives trading for the Bitcoin space for quite a while. Because of that, there's been a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticisms. I do want to note that many of them were never explicitly proven. But just to list off some of them, right? Suspicions that they traded against their own customers, conflict of interest, price manipulation, being a 100x leverage crack house for degenerate gamblers, many people getting wrecked by liquidations, especially on suspicious wicks, and often congestion on peak trading hours, which makes people unable to log in, change their orders, submit new orders, and unable to act on the market. This went on for years without ever being solved. With all that, they were still incredibly successful, with more than $11 billion in deposits, and they made more than $1 billion in fees, which is pretty impressive. Now, on to some recent bombshell events, right? In 2019, Bloomberg reported that a prominent crypto trading platform was being investigated by the CFTC. Rumors was that it was BitMEX, but it wasn't clear back then. And why people may have thought that, like BitMEX never did KYC or know your customer checks, right? But they did ban US citizens and terminated accounts around 2018. But everyone knew you could easily circumvent that since they only did a simple IP address check, so you could just use VPN. In August 2020, they finally started doing KYC. But in October 1st, 2020, the CFTC filed an official complaint with BitMEX charging them with illegally operating a cryptocurrency derivatives trading platform and anti-money laundering violations. Pretty serious infringements. And the three owners identified in this case were Arthur Hayes, Ben Dello, and Samuel Reed. Reed was arrested in Massachusetts, with the others still at large. And Arthur Hayes has been in Hong Kong for quite some time now, and he's staying there, perhaps for the time being, since they have a relatively advantageous extradition treaty, which has been suspended recently between Hong Kong and the US, right? Now let's dive into the accusations from the government. And first, a quick summary. First of all, they claim that much of the trading volume and the profits came from the US markets. They've never been registered with CFTC nor complied with laws and regulations from the US. For example, putting in KYC, AML procedures, or other processes to detect and stop manipulative trading. They posit that BitMEX also profited while illegally offering these financial products and operated as an unregistered merchant, facility, and market. Now, before I go any further and share more juicy details about this BitMEX case, I want to give a quick shout out to our patrons, Crypto.com, and their new feature, the Pay ID. It's like a Venmo account, right? So instead of giving people complicated wallet addresses, you can give them your Pay ID address, .crypto.com, and then you can send and receive crypto payments super easily from other compatible wallets with a single ID. So go check that out down in the description below as well. Now, back to some more details about accusations, right? Because I said we were going to dive deep and come straight from the source. They say that BitMEX violated the CEA, or Commodity Exchange Act, the Bank Secrecy Act, or BSA, once again, failure to implement KYC AML protocols, and failure to minimize conflict of interest, like owners and the employees of the platform traded on the platform, and their internal market making desk was a huge trader within BitMEX as well, which points to a potential conflict of interest. And some more details about potentially trading against their own customers. We want to be fair, right? Part of that is inherent in how their liquidation engine functioned, where BitMEX bought the position from the liquidated user against the bankruptcy price. And then if the loss was higher, then it would be funded from the insurance fund. So profits from this liquidation engine were added to the insurance fund reserve. And this was done to prevent users from losing more money than they deposited or had in their isolated margin. So that's just how it was set up. And that doesn't necessarily mean they were trading against their customer in a nefarious way, but they might have, right? They might have done so in other ways that weren't so clear and were more obfuscated. And just want to note that Shine is the corporate entity through which BitMEX conducts their proprietary trading on its own platform. And it is controlled by the owners, Hayes, Dello, and Reed. So next, I want to touch on CFTC's case against BitMEX and share what do they have to prove in order to win. First, they have to prove jurisdiction over BitMEX because BitMEX is actually incorporated in the Seychelles. They have to prove they violated all those different acts. They have to prove they conducted business in the US. This is pretty clear, right? They had a lot of US customers. Did they do enough to prevent them? They had offices with active operations in the US, they had executives and employees. Half of their workforce was in the US, and bank accounts in the US too. They closed their New York office, but they still had a San Francisco office and other remote locations in the US. And they never had employees or operations in the Seychelles, but had offices all around the world. And they used vendors based in the US like cloud services, Google, Slack, AWS, and they registered trademarks and patents within the US legal system. So that is a lot of stuff that points to the CFTC having a case that BitMEX is within their jurisdiction. And they also had no intention to comply with regulation because some internal documents sourced Arthur Hayes wrote in 2014 to Dello that BitMEX wouldn't do any KYC, saying basically just ask for a valid email address until they feel significant pressure to do otherwise. That's not a good look, right? And then the use of US customers of VPN services to bypass their restrictions have always been open secret. And even their customer service personnel in internal documents reflect their awareness that they're serving US customers the whole time. And BitMEX's own country revenue reports as of October 2018 also shows info about the number of US traders on their platform. CEO Arthur Hayes wrote that BitMEX was blocking US-based users, but thousands of US persons were still trading on BitMEX's platform at that time. Now, Hayes also owns and operates an entity called Headline Asia, through which he conducts a variety of transactions on the BitMEX platform and other OTC trading partners, crypto exchanges. That has never been registered with a commission, CFTC, either. So the CFTC claims all of these things in their case, but they haven't provided the actual evidence and shown it. But that's going to be what happens in court through the coming months and years. So what's also interesting is to talk about the demands of the CFTC. What do they want to happen, right? They find the defendant BitMEX, the company, and the executives in violation of a whole bunch of acts and regulations. And the charge for the Bank Secrecy Act violation is maximum 5 years in prison. Still not great for Arthur Hayes, a multimillionaire enjoying his time around the world. And prevents them from doing any further business. They have to return the ill-gotten gains, give full restitution of all deposits by customers, pay civil monetary penalties, pay costs and fees. Wow, they are screwed if the CFTC wins this case and gets everything that they asked for. So how did BitMEX react, right? Not positively, as you can guess. It's pretty clear that BitMEX violated these knowingly, and the execs knew it too. They set it up to kind of skirt this. After all, no fiat deposits, no fiat on-ramps, only derivatives trading, no actual Bitcoin trading, incorporated outside the US. So they thought they didn't have to comply with US law, but they thought wrong, right? They put out a statement disagreeing and reassuring that funds are all safe because people did have quite a bank run on BitMEX when this first dropped. They wrote, and I quote, "We strongly disagree with the US government's heavy-handed decision to bring these charges and intend to defend these allegations vigorously. From our early days as a startup, we have always sought to comply with applicable US laws as those laws were understood at the time and based on available guidance. In the meantime, the BitMEX platform is operating entirely as normal and all funds are safe." Also, I just want to note that CEO Arthur Hayes makes an interesting point. He says that even though they're not regulated, BitMEX offers even better customer protection than regulated brokers. On a regulated exchange, a trade goes against you as an investor, you can lose a whole lot more and go into unlimited debt against the broker. BitMEX, on the other hand, is set up with its liquidation engine I mentioned earlier and insurance fund, and guaranteed that the user doesn't lose more than their initial deposit. So that was a mouthful, right? This was a lot. I hope this was really interesting and that we dove deeper for you than any other content you may have read or watched on YouTube and elsewhere. But my final thoughts to this is just a little bit more philosophical, right? Core to the Bitcoin space is privacy, censorship resistance, and permissionless participation. And that's why BitMEX's open process were embraced by so many traders. Their platform was also largely trusted to keep funds safe. But now all of these types of platforms have to comply with all sorts of regulations and laws, which takes away this freedom of access per se. The recent crackdown ends that era of like wild, wild west, anyone can do this, skirt the regulations. And it makes an even bigger case for truly leaderless and decentralized exchanges and platforms, right? Remember Ether Delta? They still had an owner who was reprimanded and sued by the regulators because that wasn't sufficiently decentralized enough. DeFi protocols, that's why these are so important. They run trading engines independent of centralized leadership, perhaps like Uniswap. That could be the future. Anyways, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, chime in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and get back to you as well. I'm Kevin. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch y'all next time.